In the last video we talked about 10 reasons why you should buy, and in this video we will talk about 9 reasons why you shouldn't buy the Osmo Pocket. But before we get to that, let's roll that intro. Around here, I'm Henrik Olsen, and if you want to improve your drone skills, learn about Osmo Pocket, and maybe possibly about e-wheels, then consider subscribing to my weekly tips test and tutorials. One of the cool things about having bought this Osmo Pocket with my own money is that I can tell you exactly what I think about it. There's 9 reasons that I think you should know before you consider buying one of these. Let's dive right in. When you're using the Osmo Pocket, it's not very well protected. You get it in this box, and there's a nice strap here that will securely go around your wrist. But when you take out the unit like that, there's nothing that prevents you from dropping it. It would have been nice if they put this strip somehow on the camera instead of the protective case. That will, at least as far as I've seen on YouTube, have saved a few Osmo Pockets along the way. No built-in Wi-Fi capabilities of the camera. I really love that you can expand the Osmo Pocket by adding this wireless module. But in reality, it doesn't fit in the casing. So you need to somehow take it off all the time and store it somewhere. And I keep losing this buckle all the time, or this module all the time, because it's not fitting in the case. And that's pretty annoying. They should have built in Wi-Fi capabilities in the unit from the beginning. They could just have expanded it, I don't know, by half a centimeter or so. That would have allowed us to have the Wi-Fi capabilities on board, instead of providing this external thingy. So that is annoying and happened more than once. I have several times for some reason ended up having the audio put into low. It might be me that is doing it, but I'm not adjusting that setting. So I think it happens when you update the firmware. The audio setting is put to low, and if that happens, the audio that's being recorded on the Osmo Pocket is completely useless afterwards.
This is an audio test where the audio is turned all the way down.
Luckily, I'm using most of the time this lapel mic, and I sync up the audio in post, and there's still enough audio on the track that will allow me to sync it to the footage. So in that case, it's not a problem, but it's pretty annoying if you rely on your Osmo Pocket to record the audio and then it doesn't. So I don't know what's going on there. It might be a user error, but at least it's pretty annoying if you're in the situation and you come back and you don't have proper audio on your recording. Field of view is definitely too narrow if you plan to use this camera for vlogging. Even if you hold it in an arm's length, it's way too zoomed in or way too cropped in that it can be used to show the surroundings, which is a pretty big point when you're trying to do vlogging. So that part is not being solved very well, and you need to buy some either third-party or a DJI accessories to be able to mount the unit onto a selfie stick that will allow you to take it further away. And in case you do that, the audio will be even worse. So for that purpose, it's not very ideal. Everybody was totally hyped out about having a mechanical stabilized gimbal. But to be perfectly honest, no one can really record with it, especially when walking. It's almost close to impossible to get stabilized footage if you walk with this type of gimbal. The electronics image stabilization that you see on the GoPro and even on the Osmo Action does a much better job at stabilizing the Z-axis when you are going. You need to do some sort of like a ninja walk-ish to keep it very, very stable in the height for the footage not to wobble up and down when you're walking. So sounds like the ideal solution, that a mechanical gimbal would be the solution to all stabilization problems, but it does require some skills actually to film with it. I have not been able to manage this yet, but I'm also not a ninja. So maybe that's the reason why. Just know that you won't get 100% perfectly stabilized footage. You need to move in a certain way. It's called ninja walk, and you can look that up on YouTube, and there's several examples showing how to do that. and it's a lot harder in reality than it looks on the video. If you're doing a lot of recordings, then you might run into the limitation of that the battery time is not sufficient for what you're doing. You get around 140 minutes of recording time of a full charge, but the problem is that the battery can't be replaced. It's a fixed battery in the Osmo Pocket. You can expand the recording time by plugging in a USB-C cable with a power bank in the bottom of the unit. So that will of course expand the recording time. That's not very ideal, but I do want to say if you're recording 4K footage, running a battery down from 140 minutes, that will give you a lot of footage. So I haven't run into problems with the recording time as it is right now. But just know that you are limited to one charge with this device. We talked a little bit about the Wi-Fi adapter, and some of this stuff is needed to enhance the base functionality of the unit. And I think that all of that stuff should have been included in the package. Then they could have increased the price a little bit. I think it's a really tough thing that you have to go out and buy this skinny Wi-Fi module for, I think, $60 that you have to pay for it for adding Wi-Fi capabilities to your Osmo Pocket. I don't think that's a very fair and good strategy from DJI. You need to be able to do basic stuff like that right out of the box. Even though you can record in a flat color profile and you can record with 100 megabit per second to preserve as much information as you can in the footage, I actually found that the dynamic range in some cases are not sufficient. Especially if you have a very bright background, that will easily be blown out if the foreground needs to be exposed at least to a level where it's usable in your videos. So the dynamic range of this camera is not very excellent. It's sufficient for most purposes, but it's not super A-class, that's for sure. And that's a bit annoying in some cases because who wants to have a blown out background? When I'm saying a blown out background, it's not because it's exploding. It's just because the background is overexposed at the same time when the foreground is being exposed properly. What I've ended up doing is I actually ended up underexposing my footage and tried to fix it in post. But it's still not really good. And this seems to have been a problem from the beginning, and it doesn't seem that DJI is capable of fixing it. It does not have a removable lens cover, and that could be a major issue. If you happen to sort of scratch the lens on this Osmo Pocket, then you are toast, because there's no way to fix this other than hand it into DJI to repair it. So if you haven't bought like insurance for this, this will cost you a lot of money to get that fixed. So that is definitely a downside to this camera, that if you scratch the lens, you're toast. So this was my 9 reasons for you to consider before buying the Osmo Pocket. If you missed the video with the 10 reasons why you should buy it, then you can access it through the video card here or in the description below, because sometimes it doesn't pop up here. Hope you liked the video. If you did, then press the like button below. If you did not, then feel free to press the dislike button twice. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.